Hey everyone, welcome back. This is one of a series of short videos looking at the American political system. In this video, we're going to look at the question of who governs and the tension between elitism and pluralism in American politics. The tension between elitist and pluralist approaches to U.S. politics goes back to the earliest days of the country. And while we'll explore the tensions between these two approaches in greater detail in a few minutes, let's start by briefly exploring the two approaches themselves. In the simplest terms, elitism posits that power in society is concentrated in the hands of a small, wealthy, and politically connected elite. According to this view, this elite group dominates political decision-making, shaping policies and outcomes to serve their interests. Elitism emphasizes the role of economic and social power in shaping political outcomes and suggests that democracy is often constrained by the influences of the elite. Pluralism, on the other hand, often emphasizes the role of interest groups and other non-governmental organizations in shaping political outcomes. According to pluralism, power in society is dispersed among a variety of competing groups, each representing different interests and perspectives. These groups are often able to influence political outcomes through lobbying, activism, or other forms of advocacy. Pluralism suggests that democracy is enhanced by the presence of a diverse array of interest groups, which are able to check each other's power and prevent any one group from dominating the political process. Both elitism and pluralism have important implications for understanding American politics. Elitism highlights the importance of economic and social power in shaping political outcomes and emphasizes the need for reforms that ensure democracy is not undermined by the undue influence of the elite. Pluralism, on the other hand, highlights the importance of interest groups and other non-governmental organizations in shaping political outcomes and emphasizes the need for policies that allow for diverse representation and advocacy. But to understand exactly what each approach offers, let's consider the approaches in a little more detail. Let's start with elitism. As I indicated earlier, elitism is a political theory that posits that power in society is concentrated in the hands of a small, wealthy, politically connected elite. This elite group dominates political decision-making, shaping policies and outcomes to serve their interests. The concept of elitism has roots in the history of American politics. During the colonial period, wealthy landowners held significant political power, and after the Revolution, many of these same elites continued to play important roles in government. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the emergence of industrial capitalism led to the rise of powerful business interests, which exerted a significant influence over American politics. Families like the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, the Carnegies, and others controlled vast proportions of the American economy and wielded considerable political power as a result. While the civil rights movement and other social movements in the 20th century challenged the power of the existing elite, elite theory contends that small groups of relatively wealthy and powerful individuals still exert disproportionate power in policymaking today. According to elitism, economic and social power are the primary factors shaping political outcomes. Wealthy individuals and powerful corporations are able to use their influence to impact policy decision and shape the political agenda. This can take a variety of forms, such as lobbying, where they hire professional lobbyists to advocate on their behalf and influence policy decisions, or through campaign finance, where wealthy individuals and corporations are able to donate large sums of money to political campaigns, giving them significant influence over the political process. Another example is the revolving door between government and industry. Many politicians and government officials go on to work in corporations after leaving office or vice versa, leading to a blurring of the lines between public and private interests. This can create conflict of interests and further entrench the power of the elite in American politics. By contrast, pluralism is a political theory that emphasizes the role of interest groups and other non-governmental organizations or actors in shaping political outcomes. According to pluralism, power in society is dispersed among a variety of competing groups, each representing different interests and perspectives. These groups are able to influence political outcomes through lobbying and activism or other forms of advocacy. Like elitism, pluralism has its roots in American politics. Throughout the history of the country, interest groups have played significant roles in shaping political outcomes. From labor unions and environmental organizations to civil rights groups, interest groups have used a variety of tactics to advocate for their causes and to influence policy decisions. The civil rights movement in the 1950s and 1960s, for example, saw a wide variety of activists organize marches, sit-ins, and other forms of nonviolent protests to demand an end to racial discrimination and segregation. Through their efforts, they were able to influence public opinion and pressure lawmakers to pass important civil rights legislation, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Similarly, environmental advocacy groups like the Sierra Club or Greenpeace have been able to use lobbying and grassroots organizing and other tactics to raise awareness about environmental issues and to influence policy decisions. This has led to changes in American environmental policy, such as the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency or the passage of the Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act. These examples all highlight the importance of interest groups and other actors in shaping political outcomes, which is central to the pluralist understanding of the political process. By allowing for a diverse array of representation and advocacy, pluralism ensures that democracy is responsive to the needs and interests of a wide range of individuals and groups. Critiques and debates related to elitism and pluralism in American politics have been ongoing for many years and have led to a wide range of perspectives on the relative merits of these two political theories. Critiques of elitism often focus on concerns about inequality and democratic representation. Critics argue that the concentration of power in the hands of a wealthy and politically connected elite can lead to policies that benefit a small group at the expense of the broader population. This can undermine the democratic ideals of equal representation and the protection of individual rights. Additionally, some critics argue that elitism can lead to a sense of disengagement and disillusionment among citizens who feel that their voice is not being heard in the political process. Critiques of pluralism, on the other hand, often focus on concerns about interest group influence and the role of money in politics. Critics argue that interest groups, particularly those representing wealthy and powerful corporations, can exert a disproportionate influence over policy decisions, leading to policy outcomes that benefit a narrow group of elites at the expense of the broader population. Additionally, some critics argue that the role of money in politics can undermine the democratic ideals of equal representation and the protection of individual rights. Debates about the relative merits of elitism and pluralism in American politics often center on the question of power and representation. Some argue that elitism provides a more accurate picture of how power is distributed in American society, and that policies and reforms should be focused on addressing the concentration of power in the hands of this elite. Others argue that pluralism provides a more accurate picture of how interest groups are represented in American society, and that policies and reforms should focus on enhancing the representation of diverse groups and interests in order to counter this undue influence. Ultimately, the debates between and critiques related to elitism and pluralism in American politics reflect an ongoing debate over the nature of democracy and the role of power and representation in society. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, everyone, and be sure to check out the other videos in this series. Have a good day.